to remember the tragedy and the characteristics and principles from Imam Hussain alayhi salam. As you know, where we are seated here today, we have officially entered the University of Imam Hussain. Hai hamari darska Karbala, Karbala. Over the past few days, we have looked at Imam Hussein's character in terms of Zuryaab Warisa. So we've covered Hazrat Adam, Hazrat Nuh, Hazrat Ibrahim, Hazrat Musa. Today we look at the next line. Assalamu alayka, ya warisa, Isa ruhillah. Peace be upon you, O inheritor of Isa, the Spirit of Allah. What does Spirit really mean before we go forward? Here for Hazrat Isa, it relates to his birth. As you all know, Hazrat Isa was born without a father. It was a miracle from Allah Himself. And the Spirit refers to the Spirit that was put into the womb of Bibi Maryam Salamullahi alayha. This is Hazrat Isa. And the Spirit also refers to, as in the Quran it says, Isa, we helped you with what? Ruh al-Qudus. We helped you with the special Spirit. This is the Spirit which refers to Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, the assistance he's got, his wujud, how he was born. One thing to notice here is that Hazrat Isa, one of his miracles was he spoke whilst in the cradle. And he had many other mu'jizats, miracles throughout his life, such as in the Quran it's mentioned, he took a sculpture of a bird one day, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you did this with our help. You blew on it and it became a real bird. Many other miracles, curing the blind, helping the leper. Why? Why so much to do with medicine for Hazrat Isa? Because in Hazrat Isa's time, people challenged him with medicine. Medicine was being developed. In Prophet Musa's time, it was magic. So Prophet Musa was given special abilities, like the snake, the staff that became the snake, when he split the river Nile. Prophet Muhammad's time, we'll get onto this tomorrow in more detail, it was the intellect. People would memorize things. So the Quran was brought down. Prophet Dawood's time, it was armory. So Allah gave him the power to melt iron. So this the prophets would use as a claim to say we are on the truth. Prophet Isa's time, medicine everywhere. So Prophet Isa was given the power to cure the blind, bring the dead back to life, all through Allah's command. But one of the main things, I'm sure you all agree, you can physically change someone, you can perform all these miracles, whatever you want. But when you change someone's heart, that's the real mu'jiza. That's the real miracle. What do I mean here? Hazrat Isa alayhi salam one day said to his Sahaba, his disciples, bring a container. They brought a container. He said, bring me some water. They brought some water. He said, pour the water into the container. They did that. He said, now let me wash your feet. Hazrat Isa, the Prophet, is saying to his companions, let me wash your feet. He went up to his companions, took their feet forward and began washing it. The companion said, oh Ruhullah, the Spirit of Allah, we should be doing this to you. You are the Spirit of God. You are the Prophet. He said, no, I've done this to give you an example. Be humble in your life. Now you see me washing your feet. You go out, you wash other people's feet. In our time, it doesn't really mean you go around, you go to your neighbor and you get water. You were thinking, what's happening here? No. Change their heart. Be humble. Hazrat Isa then said, I'm telling you to do this because wisdom, hikmah, comes in where there is a soft place. If your heart's soft, wisdom will come in it automatically. Not where there's arrogance. When you plant a seed in the ground, you check if it's soft. You're not going to plant a plant in concrete. It needs to be soft soil. Same way wisdom comes where there's softness. As we say in Urdu, narmi, softness. Let's turn to Imam Hussain. How is Imam Hussain the inheritor? You see, the waris needs to be at the same level. For example, in the law in this country, there's many aspects. If they are minors, young children, and they inherit property, they cannot control it. You have trustees for them. Why? Because they are not of age yet. They are not at the level. Yes, they are the waris, they are the inheritors, but they're not at the level. You appoint trustees for them. Imam Hussain alayhi salam had the same powers as Isa had. For example, there's one account by the man, his name was Nijat. He said, I saw with my eyes angels helping Imam Ali. They were passing him arrows, and Imam Ali was shooting the arrows. But this affected his eyesight. The narration doesn't state why. Maybe his eyes couldn't handle it, there was lots of noor. He started losing his eyes. He came to Imam Hussein. He said, Yabna Rasulullah, I have problems with my eyes. He didn't tell Imam Hussein what happened. Imam Hussein said, I know, it's because you looked at the angels, right? He said, yes. Imam Hussein put his blessed hand over this guy's eyes. His eyesight came back. Prophet Isa could cure the blind. Imam Hussein could cure the blind. Prophet Isa brought the dead back to life. Imam Hussein did the same. You are aware of Habib ibn Muzahir. When he died as a young child, Imam Hussein came back, did a prayer, because Habib got life again. This is one example. What else? In Hazrat Imam Hussein's time, there was spiritual and political disease. Prophet Isa's time, medicine, physical disease. Imam Hussein's time, political and spiritual disease. Imam Hussein killed this. He stood up against Yazid. I'm sure you all agree, spiritual and political diseases are more. Why? If I have a physical disease, say you have a bad cough, chest infection, you take some medicine, disease gone. With a spiritual disease, you don't know when it's going to come back or how many you have it. I've done a riba today. I'm going to control my riba. Tomorrow I have hasad. I finished hasad. Then I have kina. I have greed. It goes on and on. Spiritual diseases are more lethal. Imam Hussein came for the spiritual aspect as well. I'll finish off with this. Prophet Isa, we mentioned humbleness. Imam Hussein also had humbleness. Which person do you know who sets his own killer free? What do I mean by this? Imam Hussein was coming back with Amir al-Mu'mineen one day after a battle. And a man grabbed Imam Hussein's feet. His hands were tied. And he said, Yabna Rasulullah, please forgive me. Ask your father Amir al-Mu'mineen to get me granted bail. Let me go. Imam Hussein looked to Amir al-Mu'mineen and said, free this man please, my father. Imam Ali looked to Imam Hussein and said, do you know who this man is? He said, I know who this man is. This is Shimr ibn Zil Jawshi. I know who he is. Free him. I'll say, Imam Hussein, today you freed Shimr's hands from the ropes. Tomorrow he'll be tying the ropes of your sisters as they go from Karbala to Kufa to Sham. Today you relieved Shimr's chest. He had a lot of anxiety. You relieved him. You had him forgiven. Tomorrow he'll be sitting on your chest in Karbala. Did this stop Imam Hussein? No. Humbleness. Let him do what he does. I will do what I do. Today we remember who? The moon of Hazrat Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Rasulullah once asked him, Oh Hassan, how much do you love Hussein? He said, I love my brother a lot. I love Hussein a lot. Rasulullah said, what if one day Hussein is surrounded by his enemies? What would you do for Hussein? He said, I will fight for my brother. I would die for my brother. I'll protect him. Nothing will happen to him as long as I am alive. He said, Hassan, what if you are not alive and this happens? Imam Hassan said, Ya Rasulullah, if I am not alive and my brother needs me, my children will go and fight for him. They will sacrifice themselves for Hussein. This is why when Imam Hassan was vomiting out his liver, you know when he was poisoned, he was vomiting out blood. Imam Hussein was sitting in front of him. He began crying. It was a deep masayib, seeing your own brother die. Imam Hassan looked to Imam Hussein and said, Aba Abdullah, why are you crying for me? La yawmaka yawmak, ya Aba Abdullah. There's no day like your day, O Hussein. Why are you crying for me? I have you by me today. In Karbala, we will have you in your final moments. Imam Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam, as he was going towards Karbala, he said to Imam Hussein, Oh my uncle, I want to fight for you. Imam Hussein, to show Qasim's mayar, said to him, Qasim, how do you view death? How is death to you? Qasim said, Uncle, for you, in the way of Allah, sweeter than honey. I will sacrifice myself for you, sweeter than honey. It's nothing. Nothing at all. Which is why on the night of Ashra, Imam Hussein was reading the names of all the shuhada. Hazrat Qasim kept getting up. Oh my uncle, is my name in this list as well? Imam Hussein would say, Qasim, sit down. He would stand up. Uncle, is my name in this list as well? Imam Hussein looked to him and said, Qasim, your 6-month-old brother, Ali Ashra, is in this as well. He said, oh my uncle, will the soldiers of Umar ibn Sa'd come into the tents? Is this possible? I'll say, Hazrat Qasim, how would you have felt if you had seen when they chased the BBs from tent to tent, when the fire spread? Hazrat Qasim, how would you have felt then? Hazrat Qasim came to Imam Hussain. I finish here. He came to Imam Hussain on the day of Ashura. Oh my uncle, let me fight. Qasim, no, I can't. You reminded me of my brother Hassan. I can't let you fight. Mawla, let me fight, please. No, Qasim, I do not give you permission. Your mum needs you. Your mum's alone, she needs you. He went to his tent and began crying. Bibi Farwa remembered Imam Hassan had written a letter for Qasim. It was on his hand as a taweez. Imam Hassan said, whenever you have the most difficult day of your life, open it. She opened it. It had a letter. She gave it to Qasim. Qasim read it. He went to Imam Hussain. Do you know what the letter said? Imam Hussain read it and it said, oh my Qasim, there will come a day to my Hussain when he will be all alone. I want you, Qasim, to represent me on that day. Sacrifice yourself for Hussain. Imam Hussain looked at the letter. He began crying. He remembered Medina, the time they spent together. He said, Qasim, I can't stop you now. He got to Hazrat Qasim ready. He tied the imamah of Imam Hassan on his head. Then he cut a piece of it off. Why did Imam Hussain cut Hazrat Qasim's imamah off? A little piece of it. To show the soldiers, this is a yateen. Maybe you will have some mercy on this yateen. He got him dressed in the armor. Then he hugged Qasim. He called Bibi Zainab. Bibi Zainab, come and look at Qasim. Doesn't he look like Imam Hassan today? They both began to cry. Yes, he looks like Hassan alayhi salam. They hugged Hazrat Qasim. The narration mentions Imam Hussain and Qasim hugged for so long. They began crying and crying and crying. Hazrat Ali Akbar alayhi salam was the hardest body to pick up for Imam Hussain. But no doubt, Hazrat Qasim was the hardest person to let go. He's not even left the tents yet. Imam Hussain is crying, he's hugging him. The narration mentions they both cried until they were unconscious. Hazrat Qasim was then let to go. He could barely fit into the horse ride. You know when you sit on the horse, the saddles, his feet barely reached, but he went out. Age is not a number. He went out, he fought bravely. Then the time came, he said, oh my uncle, come and help me. When the enemy soldiers saw Imam Hussain charging towards them, the narration mentions Imam Hussain charged towards them like an eagle charges towards its prey. Imam Hussain came cutting through the enemy ranks. The horses didn't know what to do. They ran from the right to the left. The horses from the left to the right. Hazrat Qasim's body was being pummeled by the horses. When Imam Hussain reached there, he didn't find one Qasim. He found Qasim on this side, Qasim in front of him, Qasim on the other side. Imam Hussain picked up the battery, he picked up a cloth, he picked up the pieces of Qasim. He must have remembered Imam Hassan. He then put this on his back and came to the Khaymagah. He picked up the body of Qasim as well. But I ask you, that Qasim who could not fit into the horse saddle a few moments ago, his feet were dragging on the ground. Why? How did this happen? Because his body had become stretched. His meat had been stretched by the hooves of the horses. I finish with this. When he brought Hazrat Qasim back to the tents, he would have remembered Imam Hassan alayhi salam. I'll say, Imam Hussain, you were the only shaheed whose body was trampled after you died. Qasim's the only shaheed whose body was trampled whilst he was alive. I'll say Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Imam Hassan alayhi salam. In Medina, they broke one rib of Bibi Fatima behind the door in Medina, and you could not take it. In Karbala, they broke all of Qasim's ribs. How would you have felt, Imam Hassan? They broke all of Qasim's ribs. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wa sayalamu allazina zalamu ayyuhum qalbin yukhrajun. We ask Allah to accept our azadari and for the love of Hazrat Qasim to allow us to become the true Shia of Imam Mahdi. For the love of Hazrat Qasim, can we have a loud salawat?
बहुत जगह प्लीज लग गया हो बड़ी मेहरबानी बहुत ठीक हो बहुत लग गया हो जाए बड़ी मेहरबानी बहुत सारी बड़ी जगह आ गया आज नंबर बहुत आम है, बड़ी मेहरबानी।
खुशनूदी इमाम ज़मां बुला